Hello, everybody. Gridiron Gladiators. Welcome to the week. Are we in? I think it's 14. As we are, yes, in week 14. I'm doing this on the fly tonight, gentlemen. As you can see, my voice has kind of been shot over the last couple of days, but I'm going to try my best to get this out. As we are heading into literally what's coming down to the final weeks of the season, it's going to be crazy as we are getting ready for the bowl championship, the conference championships, and then the bowl picture come into place. So far, it's pretty funny in the standings right now because in the coaches and the formerly coaches in the basically in the coaches bowl, you got Florida at Sox and Gators at number one, and BK, Arkansas, number two, which is pretty funny because everybody knows that this game coming up in the SEC championship will be for who gets the right to the national title game. So it should be an interesting match. But if you look at the other, uh, if you look at the AP, what I call the media AP, Oklahoma is number two. And then if you go into the BCS rankings, Arkansas is third. So obviously Arkansas not quite getting the love, but I think maybe they figured that having a 1 and 2 in the SEC championship game, there's no way in hell that you're going to have Arkansas and Florida play for the national title in that region. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting as we go along here. And looking at the standings of the teams right now, it has been a very interesting year um, for everybody. BK won the West. Wonder how that happened, BK. I think you know how. But anyway, I come in tied for second with Auburn after I beat them in the Iron Bowl, 31-17. So handed their butts a loss, which was fantastic. Loved every minute of it. And Florida Sox and Gators just running away in the East there with their with how they're going right now. Looking at the schedule right now, we got a few guys: South Carolina against Ohio State, Michigan against Florida. Sox and Gators putting that number one ranking on the line, and then that's pretty much it for the user games. Go back to the last week. I beat Auburn. Sox and Gators rolled North Texas. Uh, K10 made it 506-6 record with USC, so he's definitely in the bowl picture right now. C blanked Arizona 20-0, and South Carolina, led by this new guy. So far, he's salvaged their season to a point, and they beat Houston 30-21. Wisconsin with CKM 24-7 over Illinois. Obviously, that running game is going really well. Oregon State though beat Cal 33-0. Man, what happened to Cal? And then BK had to go to overtime to beat their rivals LSU and get the Golden Boot 45-42. And then Michigan State beat Michigan 28-14. So pretty good game there. And then Penn State losing to Arizona State 28-3. Funny thing about that is right now is that Penn State still leads their region in the Big 12 right now. So they will get in the championship game with a 7-1 conference record. Pretty impressive, even though Mike Dredd missed most of the year. And then Oregon losing to Georgia 22-14. So obviously that spread attack didn't quite help them out against Georgia. But I know Texas Fight's going to have that team ready for the next week, and then going into week 15, really nothing going on. So week 14, these two games here, South Carolina, Ohio State, Michigan, and Florida, will pretty much end the season for everybody. As now we look towards the championship pictures in the bowl in the in the as we look ahead towards the championship games in the SEC and Big 12 and the Pac 12 and all that stuff. Like right now, with bowl projections, right now, it's pretty interesting how it's going right now. Let's see, I'll do my best to try to pick people out here. USC, possibly right now, they're slated for the Mikey Car Care Bowl against Miami University. So battle of 6-6 teams there. That is, if that holds true. Remember, these are just projections to where everybody should be going. These will change until after the championship game, until the conference championship game is set. So there could be some changes abound here. As moving on, Michigan could possibly get the Holiday Bowl against Virginia Tech. So that should be a really good matchup there. And let's see, Michigan State will get the Insight.com Bowl, or it's the Insight Bowl. I still call it the old way, Insight.com Bowl. And they would get Iowa State, the Cyclones, out of the Big 10, Big 12 versus the Big 10. So that should be an interesting matchup there. LSU, Chick-fil-A Bowl will go up against Oregon, so that should be a good matchup there. And I would get, with Alabama, I would get Texas A&M, and that would be in the Capital One Bowl, and that would be battle of 10-2 teams right now. So interesting matchups there. As we move on, Penn State with Mike Dredd, he will get West Virginia in the Fiesta Bowl, depending on what happens with his conference championship game. Wisconsin will take on the triple option attack of Georgia Tech in the Alamo Bowl. So that should be quite an interesting battle there. BK right now, we possibly get the at-large bid for the Sugar Bowl, depending on what happens in the championship game. It used to be years ago, back in the old days, winner of the SEC went to the Sugar Bowl. Now with the whole BCS change and everything, it's more like whoever loses the SEC championship game has that right into the Sugar Bowl. It's been that way the last couple of years in real life. 1 year, Florida beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, so Alabama went to the Sugar Bowl. And then the next year, Florida lost their game to Alabama, and so Florida went to the Sugar Bowl. So it kind of seems a little bit of reverse from last year. But Arkansas and BK Hogg would get Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Ohio State, a team that was managed twice and then dropped twice by two different users. So let's see how that goes. Let's see. And then Oklahoma would get Florida in the BCS National Championship game. That is, if everything holds true for Sox and Gators going into this game coming up, and then of course the SEC Championship game. So everything's going to get really fine and interesting right now as we're really looking in towards the push towards the end here. As I'm looking at everybody's users this week, nobody really playing. Most of the people got off except Michigan. Like I said, they got the champ gets Sox and Gators in Florida, and of course South Carolina takes on Ohio State, and then basically everybody else is off. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the whole aspect of the whole thing. I think I left somebody out. Forgive me. Like I said, I'm doing this on the fly. Arizona State, where are they going? Oh, yes. Arizona State would get the ride into the Sun Bowl and El Paso, Texas to take on the Clemson Tigers. So that should be an interesting matchup there, too. So I think I've pretty much covered everybody for the season and stuff. Of course, we know there are some teams that will and won't be making the bowl run right now. So it will be interesting. And then some tickets still have to be punched, if can be any, as we move on from there. Like I said, the SEC is pretty much sound and bent and done. Just taking care of a few last things. The Pac-12 right now, Oregon leads the Atlantic Division. I'm just going to call it like it is. Well, actually, I'll just call it Division One. Division One is Oregon on top. Cal's way on the bottom at 4-8, and then in the Division II area, you have Utah, controlled by nobody. But you do have USC at 6-6, a 5-3 conference record, and Arizona State with 4-4, 7-4 conference record. So pretty cool there. The Big 12, Penn State on top, like I said before. It's been kind of a rough ride for Mike Dredd this year. He has missed most of this year due to personal issues, but his Penn State Nittany Lions have not lost any track of their fight. 7-1 conference. They are definitely in the championship game. And Wisconsin is currently tied for second with Ohio State at 6-2. And then in the other division of the Big 12, you have Nebraska on top with users Michigan State and Michigan right behind them, tied for second at 5-3 in their record. So pretty interesting run here, guys. And then nobody else really much of anywhere else. So like I said, Sox and Gators for leads the SEC outright with an 8-0 conference record. And then of course you got Arkansas and then my team Alabama finishing up the rest. Of course we know who has clinched the East. And then due to my loss against LSU, BK jumped ahead of me. And then I finished out strong the rest of the games, beating Mississippi State, Clemson, and Auburn to finish out the rest of the year strong. So, except for that little hiccup, had it come down to a tie, which I know BK did not want, I would have had him there because I did beat him in our head-to-head matchup earlier, 45-42. And then I lost the next week to Florida in Sox and Gators. We just played an absolutely tough game in that one. So, tough break there, but hey, what counts for me, I beat Auburn. So, works for me too. But this will end tonight's show of the bowl projections. Let's get our games done here. We only got 2 user games tonight. Let's get those done, guys, and get them hard done finished because, like I said, no users the next week. And then we lead into the conference championship games, which will be quite fun. We'll have some great battles there too. We already got one in the SEC championship game. It will be BK against Sox and Gators, as Sox and Gators doesn't have to worry about facing me again. So probably would have been a hell of a battle again, but that's the breaks. But other than that, gentlemen, have yourself a great night, and I will talk to you later.